there, friends. Pastor Jerry checking in along the road. I wanted to share with us this week from the Gospel of Matthew. I've been preaching, teaching, reading, thinking about the Gospel of Matthew really for about the last year. And as we get ourselves here now to chapter 22, we're in an interesting spot. We're really in the spot where it's the last week of Jesus' life. He's begun to sort of turn up the pressure on the religious leaders as he's confronted them with the realities of sort of who they are and the gap and the distance between the ways that they've been behaving and teaching and thinking and what his kingdom really looks like. And the conflict between him and them is really kind of coming to a head. And so one more time, Jesus is going to teach in a parable and reveal things about his kingdom. And then they're going to respond by challenging him, really trying to trick him with a question about taxes and Caesar. And we see Jesus' response. And so as I'm reading, I want you to consider yourself first, is there a person in the parable of the wedding feast that you think you fit, that characterizes who you are in your relationship to him and his call to come sort of inside to his party? And then lastly, as you think about your own interactions, as your own thoughts and feelings about the government, about taxes and vaccines and some of those other things that are happening, I just encourage you to think, what is Jesus really saying to us? And if you've got questions, feel free to comment or post or write me personally if you do. But we're going to be unpacking some of that stuff this week at Journey. And so if you're in the area and you want to come and hear, you're invited to do so. If you want to just watch online or in the app that our church has, you're welcome to do that as well. But let me just read for us Matthew chapter 22. And again, Jesus spoke to them in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son, and he sent his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast. But they would not come. And again he sent other servants, saying, 'Tell those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fat calves have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast.' But they paid no attention, and they went off, one to his farm, another to his business, while the rest seized his servants, treated them shamefully, and killed them. The king was angry, and he sent his troops, and he destroyed those murderers, and he burned their city. And then he said to his servants, 'The wedding feast is ready, but those invited were not worthy. Go therefore to the main roads and invite to the wedding feast as many as you find.' And those servants went out into the roads, and they gathered all whom they found, both bad and good. So the wedding hall was filled with guests." Verse 11, "But when the king came in to look at the guests, he saw there a man who had no wedding garment. And he said to him, 'Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding garment?' And he was speechless. And then the king said to the attendants, 'Bind him hand and foot and cast him into the outer darkness. And in that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.'" And verse 15, "Then the Pharisees went and they plotted how to entangle him in his words. And they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, 'Teacher, we know that you are true. Teach the way of God truthfully, and you do not care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances. Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?' But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, 'Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax.' And they brought him a denarius, and Jesus said to them, 'Whose likeness and inscription is this?' And they said, 'Caesar's.' And then he said to them, 'Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's.' And when they heard it, they marveled, and they left, and they went away." Friends, I pray that this would not just be an encouragement, but that you might genuinely spend a few moments asking yourself some of those questions that we talked about. I hope to see you along the way here, along the road, and we'll be checking back in again next week.